6:30, Wednesday night, 6:30, Wednesday night. We will have a full service. Jeff and I are planning, I will be adding the ashes to either your forehead or your forehand, whichever you choose. Come down the middle aisle, stop with me first, and then step beside me, and then Jeff will be right behind me with the bread, and then we'll go out to ushers, and we'll have the cup, and we'll dip it, and then step either side, and kneel around if you wish, and then we'll go back to your seats. That'll be the big procession. We didn't want to have you come up for ashes and then go back and sit down, and then come back up for service for the communion. We'll just do it all at one time. Mission meeting, is it Monday night? Is it the wow? Or moms? Or is it upside down on wow? Okay. Tomorrow night, Mission Tuesday night. There's a cookie sign-up sheet back there. Somebody speaking to that? Herron?
Yes, we do have a cookie sign-up sheet. Those who like to help out, just put your name on the list, and outreach and membership will call occasionally if you wish to help make homemade cookies for our enjoyment. And while I have the microphone, I have another announcement. We want you to remember March 14th is the game night, and so bring your favorite game, or if you don't have one, just come. We'll have extras and snacks to share, and it's a family night, so bring the children and come and play games and celebrate, hopefully, some warmer weather.
All right, thank you. Hand the microphone to David on the way back by. I know he's got something to say. About the men's group.
The United Methodist Men is sponsoring 4 Lenten breakfasts on Saturday at 8 o'clock. Starting March 15th, the theme comes from a book by Tony Dungy, which is a study guide he wrote for his Quiet Strength, in which he asks 6 tough questions. On the 15th, Ron May is going to be talking about what is my game plan. On March 22nd, Father Thomas Haynes from St. Thomas is going to talk about what is my strength. Bill Hemming is going to talk on the 29th, what is my significance. And Tom Padberg on the April 5th is going to talk about what is my security. We're going to have special music, and everybody in the church is invited to come. We also invited everybody in the community. There is a sign-up sheet in the back. If I can get you to sign up that, but I'd like to have Mike know some idea how many people to prepare for. So we're not sure the first week, so that if you think you're going to come to any and sign up, so we'll know that.
Tell them what the menu is.
I think we're having biscuits and
Yes,
gravy.
it's very good.
That way we can stretch it. So if there's a few people, you can have 3 biscuits. If there's not many, you can have a biscuit and a piece of sausage.
All right. Thank you. Other words of wisdom to share with us this morning? We are preparing ourselves. You ready to worship then? Yes. Thank you.
been afraid of anything? What have you been afraid of? Tornado siren. Anybody else been scared of anything at all? Yes? Same business? Tornadoes are scary. When I was a kid, I was afraid of my dad, because I was always looking at my mom. And I would always hear from my mom, "You just wait till your dad gets home." But I want to tell you a story about a guy. This is a true story. This actually happened. About a guy named John. And John was a coal miner. And every day he goes to work, he had to get in this big elevator and go 480 feet down to where he would work all day. Well, one day he got in this elevator and he went down about halfway, and suddenly the elevator stopped and the lights went out. Imagine being right in the middle and you had no idea what was going on. And then, instead of going down like it was supposed to do, it started going up. And little did John know that the engineers had decided this would be the day they would test the emergency braking system on their new elevator. And do you know how they do that? They take the elevator all the way to the top, 480 feet, and then they hit a button and it drops. 480 feet straight down, non-stop, and then they apply the brake at just the last second. And here John is in this elevator, and they didn't do it just once. They didn't do it just twice. This went on for 2 hours as they tested the emergency braking system. Now, would you have been scared a little bit, maybe? Now, I'm a former Marine, former law enforcement, so yeah, I would be scared. But guess what? You know, you guys have had times when you have been scared. There may be times in the future when you will be scared. But here's the good news. God will always be there with his hand on the brake to save you. You may not see it, you may not know it at the time, but God is always there waiting to apply the brake at just the right time to keep you safe. So when you have things that you're worried about, that make you nervous, that maybe even make you a little scared, just remember, you're never alone. God is always with you. That sounds good. Let's pray. God, we thank you that even when things happen in life, we get worried, we get scared, and we're not sure what's going to happen next, we're so thankful that we can know that you're always with us and that you'll always protect us. Father, we thank you. In Jesus' name. Amen. Let's go to God's squad.
Time of our expressions of our joys and our concerns, we share 3 or 4 or 5 with you, and then I ask you to share with us your joys and concerns. Most of you know by now that Karen Steinfeld passed away very unexpectedly in her funeral last Friday. The flowers you see in the sanctuary in the North Lakes area from their family. And we want to continue to remember them in our prayers, if you would please. Alberta P.T. Bickerstaff. Long-time member of the Plymouth area. Most of you know by now that she had a brain aneurysm, which is a bleed in the brain, and it got really bad, and they had to go do surgery and try to seal that from leaking any farther. She has been unconscious since last Monday. Doctor said we're only going to give her a 5% chance of recovery. However, it's been since Monday, and she's still hanging in there. They have her in a medical coma, which is the procedure I understand they use to keep the body at its lowest ebb, so the brain can take place, so the body can take place in reabsorbing the blood material that's in her head. So Bill is very anxious, as you might suspect, that he wants to get her back healthy again, but it's going to take some time. So we pray for Alberta, please. Shirley Donaldson, we have been praying for her since November the 5th. When she went in for her heart surgery, she She's coming home Friday, which has been an answer to prayer for them for a long time. This coming Friday, she is being released in Casper and going home. So congratulations to her. Ken Wilson, his mother, Marcia, wanted me to bring that name before you. He has gone in for another stenting process, and it did not work well. And so they're looking at other possibilities. Marilee Douglas, from our 8 o'clock service, has fallen and has broken the upper portion of her arm. She is going in for surgery tomorrow morning to have a rod placed in there for the support of that arm. So if you pray for her, please, Marilee Douglas. And Jason Davis, you want me to say that for you? Jason? Is to having some difficulties. They were here on the last week of December, and we baptized their baby, and they have gone back to Colorado. Jason has had some issues with the kidney, and they've asked through his mother-in-law that we bring his name forward so we might be able to pray for Jason Davis. Add him to the list, please. That's all I have. Aaron Stifel, Roberta Bickerstaff, Shirley Donaldson, Ken Wilson, Marilyn Douglas. All right, let me ask you, if you want to hold up your hand, if you have a joy or concern you would like to share with us.
Today my grandson celebrates his 5th week. I'm grateful for it. His surgery went well last Monday. They went in with a little clamp, closed his heart where it was leaking. I took him off the ventilator this week. He's in the 50% who does well, and so they got almost instantaneous results. My son and daughter-in-law have gone from thinking, will he survive, to when he comes home. Now that's good for me, because Diane's probably coming home this week. So she's been there for 3 weeks, and I think she's coming back. So we're all very grateful, and things are looking good for Grayson. And we appreciate all your support. Thank you.
We'll continue to keep them on for James.
Yeah, Larry, I wanted to just update on Rosemary Martinez, my aunt. She was diagnosed with stage 3C breast cancer, so she has reluctantly agreed to receive a chemotherapy. So if you could keep my Aunt Rosemary in prayers, that would be great. Also, I think some of you ladies may have met Audra Fettinger, who's Michelle's best friend. Audra's mother-in-law, Geraldine Fettinger, passed away unexpectedly on Wednesday, and Audra was there because she has been taking care of her mother-in-law closely, and so it was very traumatic for Audra, and of course the whole family. Her name again is Geraldine Fettinger. She attends First United Methodist Church in LaPorte. So if we could lift up Miles, who is Audra's husband, Audra and their family as they grieve with their loss of their mother. Thank you.
Tell me that last name.
Fettinger, Fettinger.
Thank you. Okay. Other joys, concerns? Yes.
I would ask for prayers for a longtime family friend of mine, Roger Osborne. He was diagnosed with lymphoma, and he'll be starting some stem cell treatments in Loyola in Chicago. He's about my age.
Okay, other joys, concerns?
see, Hannah and I both went through our surgeries very well. We're on the mend. We're doing great. So I just thank everybody for their prayers and the concerns for our family. We really do appreciate it. So thank you. We have one other announcement. I wanted to announce a lot of people at Hannah sent out letters and stuff asking for donations for the Plymouth High School Dance Marathon they do for Riley Hospital. And I want to let everybody know that the Plymouth High School raised $25,000 for Riley Hospital to go toward the Magic Castle down there and also the Child Life Specialist program that they have down there. So thank you for everybody that helped sponsor and help the kids out of high school. Thank you.
Still think we should put Hannah on the finance committee. We need more youth representatives. Other joys, concerns, otherwise, let's take the hand of somebody next to you, please. Let's pray. Lord, we take this opportunity to come together this morning to lift up in our prayers our concerns for those among us and those that are outside of us. For the family of Karen Stifel and Alberta Bickerstaff, Shirley Donaldson, and Ken Wilson, and Marilee Douglas, Jason Davis, Grayson Hogsett, Roger Osborne, for the Fittinger family, and Audra and Miles, for birthdays, and for healing that takes place, physical, mental, and spiritual. We give you thanks for the concerns of our hearts, our respective families, our church, our community, our state, our nation, and our world. And we uplift and hold up our joys, our concerns as we recite the Lord's Prayer together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Stand with me, please. Let's find somebody that you've not yet greeted this morning. We're going to take some pictures, so keep shaking hands.
The disciples came down from the mountain to confront the reality of human need. A deeply disturbed boy and his father. Knowing that people still have great problems and great needs, let us give generously. May the ushers wait upon us. we pledge to do all we can in His name to heal a broken and needy world.
Would you stand with me, please? Back page of your bulletin, you'll find the scripture lesson for this morning. Mom, if you'd be gracious enough to scroll through with Matthew 17, verses 1 through 9. This is the story of the Transfiguration, and every Sunday before Ash Wednesday, we get this reading. You ever notice that? Think back over the years, this has been the same reading for, I don't know, about 12,000 years or so. It goes way, 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 way back. And it is evidently a good reminder for us why we need to be reading this, because it keeps coming up. It's like watching commercials on television. It's the same thing over and over. How many Geico commercials do you like to watch? I'm done with that. We need to be reminded, this is the Transfiguration. This sets us up for Ash Wednesday, this coming Wednesday night. Read with me, please, as we find this to be the inspired word of God. After 6 days, Jesus took with him Peter, James, and John, the brother of James, and led them up a high mountain by themselves. There he was transfigured before them. His face shone like the sun. His clothes became as white as light. Just then there appeared before them Moses and Elijah, talking with Jesus. Peter said to Jesus, "Lord, it is good for us to be here. If you wish, I will put up 3 shelters, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." While he was still speaking, a bright cloud covered them, and a voice from the cloud said, "This is my Son, whom I love. With him I am well pleased. Listen to him." When the disciples heard this, they fell face down to the ground, terrified. But Jesus came and touched them. "Get up," he said. "Don't be afraid." When they looked up, they saw no one except Jesus. As they were coming down the mountain, Jesus instructed them, "Don't tell anyone what you have seen until the Son of Man has been raised from the dead." This is the word of the Lord. Thank you, God. Thank you. Would you be with me, please, in a moment of prayer? Lord, we will take this opportunity to prepare our hearts before we begin the Lenten season on Wednesday, where we will celebrate the imposition of the ashes and the Holy Communion, share song and prayer, the divine word. We thank you for this opportunity to pre-prepare, to set ourselves in good stead with you, to find the forgiveness that is necessary and to give forgiveness as is needed. Be with us as your people here at the corner of Adams and Michigan, as we lift up and praise your holy and righteous name. We do so in the name of Christ our Lord. Who is your hero? Without saying or without holding your hands up, just think for a moment. Who would you consider to be one of your heroes? You know, it's been said that over the years that now we, as the average American in the United States today, is more inclined to worship celebrities. The University of Michigan professor of classic literature was teaching a course in Greek heroes, and he was trying to elicit from his students what they thought, or who they thought would be a good American hero today. And so he kept asking, "Who are your heroes?" And nobody was saying anything. They were silent on the matter, except one girl way in the back. Hey, went to the back, she held up her hand. He said, "Tell me, who is your hero?" And she said, "Clint Eastwood." You feel lucky, Buck? Well, I think Clint Eastwood is probably one of the best actors in Hollywood, but a hero? A hero? I can probably safely say that LeBron James and Dwayne Wade have become the heroes of the basketball world since Michael Jordan has now officially retired. Hero. Who do you consider to be your hero? Do you have names? Do you have images in your mind, in your hearts, wherever that may be? How about if we pick heroes from maybe a half a generation ago? How about Walter Cronkite? Newscaster. We trusted in him, believing him to be his honor. What about today? How about Oprah Winfrey? Well, the editor said no. And I said, Dr. Phil, and they said no. Who is your hero today? You know, as a people, we seem to have the need, maybe we're wired this way, but we have a need to look up to somebody. Somebody who can do something or accomplish something that we cannot. And so we look up to them. We want to look up to them. We're inclined to look up to those people in our lives. Something inside of us tells us we need to have a hero in life. Speaking of looking up to somebody, there was a humorous story in the paper not too long ago about George Mirasan. George played for the Washington Bullets. He stands 7 feet 7.5 inches tall. He sponsored a lot of fear to some of the other big men that were playing basketball at that time. But let me tell you this, Bears don't like George Mirasan either. George went to, this is a picture of him, that opening that he's standing in is actually 6'8" tall. That's his regular opening door for the size of the door. He's well above that. He went to the Washington Zoo, and as he approached the bear compound, the bears saw him and ran to their caves. Now the zookeeper thought, well, maybe this is just odd, so they asked George to step back out of sight. They enticed the bears to come back out, and then asked George to come up again. And when they saw him, they ran back to their caves a second time. And they did it a third time, and the same thing happened. Now there's a guy you can look up to, right? Even the bears run from him. Now, worshiping or looking after or being concerned with celebrities is not new. Hasn't been we've done this for a long time. Marie Antoinette. She was the first lady of Louis XVI of France. She was probably the first style setter of the 18th century. If she styled her powdered wig in a particular fashion, all the ladies of the court and wealthy ladies powdered and did their hair style the same way. When she became pregnant, ladies of the court were stuffing pillows underneath their dresses to assimilate or to imitate Marie's growing birth. Now, the problem was when she gave birth, all the ladies took their pillows out and then pillows became a passé style. There's something within the human psyche that needs to look up to someone. Someone that we can identify with, someone that we might be able to imitate. Who is your hero? You know, there are some legitimate heroes in the world today. You and I both know people who live courageous and compassionate and honest and generous lives, meaningful lives. And I'm going to give you my list of people that I look up to. The Mother Teresas of the world, the Mohandas Gandhis, Franklin Roosevelt perhaps, Martin Luther King Jr., Jonas Salk, Thomas Edison, Clara Barton. You can name a lot more. There are the heroes that inspire us. And there are as many heroes that will never make it into the public image. And the world is a far better place for these unknown heroes. Herschel Hobbs is a United Methodist minister from Dallas, Texas, and he was telling a story about a judge who lived on a ranch not too far from Dallas, Texas. And when the judge died, they held his funeral service in that church. It's a huge Methodist church there. There were so many flowers at the funeral. funeral that they had to have 2 trucks to carry the flowers from the funeral site out to the cemetery. And while they were unloading those 2 trucks, a friend turned to one of the judge's hired hand and said, "The judge certainly received a lot of flowers today, didn't he?" And the hired hand said, "You know what?" He said, "The judge has been planting those seeds for a long time." Ironically, I can't even tell you the name of the judge. But I would bet my last dollar that he was a local hero in the sight of those people. Who is your hero? Now, Moses and Elijah were heroes to the Israeli people. To this very day, Moses and Elijah are 2 of the most influential men who ever lived. Their stories are told in the 3 great faiths of the world today, in Judaism and Islam and Christianity. Moses was the one who went to the mount to bring back the tablets of the law. We know them as the 10 Commandments. Elisha was a great prophet of Israel, a man of major heroic proportions. And it's significant that when the disciples go up to the hill with Jesus, in the experience of the Transfiguration, Jesus is in the presence of Moses and Elisha. You know the story as well as I. Jesus selects Peter and James and John. They go up to some mountain secluded area by themselves, and while on that mountain, an extraordinary thing happens that is recorded in our scripture. As those disciples are looking at their master, Jesus, his face begins to shine like the sun, his raiment, his clothing is changed to be pure white, and suddenly there appears with Jesus Moses and Elijah, and they're talking. They're talking. Then Peter, who is never one without words, says, "Lord, it's a good thing we were here. We'd like to raise up 2 tabernacles, 2 booths, 2 shelters, 3 shelters. One for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." And while Peter is still speaking, this bright cloud comes over them. And from this cloud comes the voice of God that says, "This is my beloved Son. With him I am well pleased. Listen to him." Those are the words that come down through 20 centuries to us. Listen to him. When the disciples heard this voice, they fall down on their knees and they're terrified, and they lay prostrate on the ground. And Jesus comes over and he touches them and says, "Get up, do not be afraid." And when Peter and James and John look up, as Jesus is their lamp, Moses and Elijah are already going. And then coming down the mountain, Jesus says something very unusual. You would think that after having an experience like this, Peter says, "Let us build 3 churches for you," that they'd want to share that with the entire world. But Jesus said, "Don't tell anybody. Don't say a word about this until the Son of Man has been raised." Now, coming down from the mountain, who do you think is the hero to Peter, James, and John? May I recommend to you that if you do not have a hero, that you seriously consider the person of Jesus Christ. Why? Because, first of all other human heroes will let you down. They are human. They are fallen, fallible. The truth of the matter is that regardless of how remarkable the person that we've chosen to be our hero, they're still human. They're still going to make mistakes. They still will make mistakes. There was a time in our history when our heroes could be created or invented through the news media. Many of us can remember those more naive times when the press did not report our heroes' shortcomings. The media would often exaggerate the strengths of those people, now famous people, but ignore their weaknesses. Politically, that was true all the way up through Watergate. Nowadays, it seems like things are just reversed. We know way too much about our heroes. Stuff that I don't even want to know. Today, we know all of our heroes' weaknesses and their shortcomings, and the strengths are now being minimized. Unfortunately, we have the responsibility of deciphering out what is true and what is not true, what is real and what is unreal, and what is just public relations. There seems to be in the world today what I would call the surface sheep. Do you know that you can buy a paper watch face that simulates a $15,000 Rolex watch, and all you do is just cut it out and you put it right on top of your $11 watch? And your friends will think that you are wealthy and have good taste. That's surface chic. I'm afraid that most of our celebrities, most of our heroes today are not much more than surface chic. As we get a closer look at our human heroes, we become more and more and more disappointed by what we know, what we read. Another reason to allow Jesus Christ to become your hero: He will not let you down. Another reason I think that we can make Christ our hero is that He will make a hero out of you. When we take the time to focus on Jesus Christ as our object of worship, when we identify with Him, we are supposed to seek to imitate Him. That's what we do with real heroes and our human heroes. We want to emulate what they do. We walk like they walk and we talk like they talk. Why aren't we doing that with Christ? Why are we not allowing ourselves to imitate Him? And when we imitate Him in a true fashion, we will find that we become heroes to others. Gladys Ward was a missionary to China in the late 1930s and was forced to leave her missionary work when the Japanese invaded the mainland of China. And while fleeing certain death, she led hundreds of orphan Chinese children over the mountains and into neutral Nepal. It was a frightening journey for her, and at times Gladys broke down under the weight of despair and disappointment. One morning, after a sleepless night guarding the kids, Gladys feared that they would never be able to reach the safety that she was hoping for, and she shared that hopelessness with a 13-year-old Chinese orphan girl. The 13-year-old Chinese girl reminded Gladys of the biblical stories that Gladys used to tell about Moses and how he led the people through the Red Sea unto safety. And Gladys said, "But I'm not Moses." And the girl, in a divine moment of inspiration, replied, "Well, of course you're not Moses, but Jehovah is still Jehovah. Jehovah is still Jehovah." Isn't that exactly the point? Why worship human heroes if our heroes cannot make heroes out of us? Christ wants us to become Christian heroes to the non-Christian world. And that is the best kind that we can be. In fact, those disciples of Peter, James, and John knew that they were in the presence of real greatness, whose significance went beyond celebrity status. Those ancient people of Moses and Elijah, they were even heroic. Jesus became their Lord. Jesus became their master. Jesus became their king. If we are wise people, we will allow Christ to become our Lord, our master, and our king as well. Would you bow your heads with me for a moment, please? Lord, we're continuing to ask you to prepare our hearts, prepare our families, prepare our children, our grandchildren, our neighbors, our friends, the members and friends of this church, as we embark upon a new Lenten season. touch us in our hearts, that we would be tenderized to receive the power of your glory and your heroism, that we may imitate and follow after your example to a chaotic world. Be with us as we prepare for this time together. As in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Would you stand with me, please, if you need your hymnal, page number 575, otherwise it will be on the big screen. Onward, Christian Soldiers. We'll sing verses 1, 3, and 5. Onward, Christian personality and to imitate Jesus Christ our Lord. We give you thanks as we pray this in Christ's holy and magnificent name. These people said,